Their phones were sending scam messages to everyone they knew.
while sitting on the table, locked, untouched.
No suspicious apps, no linked devices, nothing.
The phone looked completely clean.
The part that keeps coming back is the linked devices check. That's been the standard advice for years, and these attacks made it useless. The list was clean because they never needed to link a second device at all.
Which means the attack wasn't using the normal path. You don't need to pair a second device if you've already compromised the first one at a deeper level.
iOS 16 has known vulnerabilities, software flaws that were documented, that Apple was aware of, that just hadn't been patched yet on the devices that got hit. A zero-click attack means the attacker sends something, a message, a packet of data, something the phone processes automatically in the background. And that's enough. No tap required, no interaction, no moment where the user could have chosen differently.
And there's no notification when it lands. The phone processes it the same way it processes everything else.
Accounts already gone at that point. The attacker is in before the victim has any reason to look. The victims in Italy were watching their WhatsApp send scam messages to their own contacts, asking for money transfers from their number, in their name, while their phone showed nothing unusual at all.
The contacts would have had no reason to be suspicious. It's coming from someone they know.
That's the functional part of this. The attack isn't just about access, it's about using trust. The attacker doesn't need to build credibility from scratch. They borrow yours.
And then disappears. No device in the linked list, no login notification, no strange app installed, just the outgoing messages, and even those are gone if they delete them fast enough.
What's strange is that WhatsApp has two-step verification. Registration lock, the linked devices screen, these were all built to catch exactly this kind of intrusion, and they all assume the compromise happened above a certain layer of the system. Get underneath that layer, and the security features are looking the wrong direction.
The investigators who traced this were looking at network traffic logs and server-side records, not anything on the device itself. The device had nothing to show them.
Italy isn't a particularly high-value target for nation-state attackers. This wasn't a diplomatic espionage campaign. It was financial fraud, which means whoever built this was using a sophisticated technique for a very ordinary crime.
That's what's shifting. The capability used to be expensive enough that you only deployed it for something that justified the cost.
And now it's showing up in money transfer scams.
And while that's happening, 176 million transactions worth of money is moving in a direction most people haven't looked at yet.
Between May 2025 and April 2026, software bots completed 176 million payment transactions. Not humans, software. Autonomous programs buying things, paying for services, settling debts, with no person initiating any individual transaction.
And almost none of it ran through a bank.
Crypto, which here just means digital currencies that move on public ledgers outside the traditional banking system, which sounds like the libertarian fantasy from 2017 finally showing up, except the reason is completely mundane. AI agents, these are programs that can browse the web and take actions on your behalf, like booking a flight or paying a bill to another piece of software. They operate at machine speed, a few milliseconds. Traditional banking infrastructure wasn't built for that. You can't wire $0.003 to another piece of software in the time it takes to load a web page. Crypto can do that.
It's just a ledger that moves when you tell it to move. No business hours, no compliance hold, no minimum transaction size.
So it's not ideological, it's architectural. The bots defaulted to crypto because crypto is the only payment system that actually works at the speed and scale they need.
And now Google, Stripe, Visa, and Coinbase are all trying to own that infrastructure, which is interesting because those are four companies with very different ideas about what money is for.
Stripe built the plumbing for the internet economy the first time around. Visa is the network that every card in your wallet runs on, and they're both suddenly paying close attention to a system they spent years dismissing.
176 million transactions is not a pilot program. That's an economy that already exists and most people never touched it.
The question is whether the bots spending money eventually become the bots earning it too, and what happens to a tax system or a labor market built around the assumption that economic actors are people.
So the SEC is about to let crypto apps sell something called a Tesla token. You open Coinbase or whatever, you buy a token that tracks Tesla's stock price. Price goes up, you make money. Price goes down, you lose money.
Except you don't own Tesla stock.
Right. A stock is a legal claim on a company. You have voting rights, you're a registered shareholder, there are rules about what the company owes you. A token that tracks the price of a stock is a different thing entirely.
It's closer to a bet on the price than ownership of anything.
And the SEC is crafting a special exemption so crypto platforms can list these without following the same rules traditional stock exchanges have to follow. The pitch is accessibility. You could be anywhere in the world with a crypto wallet and get exposure to American companies without going through a brokerage.
Which is genuinely useful. There are a lot of people locked out of U.S. markets for regulatory or geographic reasons.
But the fine print is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. If a company goes bankrupt, actual shareholders have a legal claim on whatever's left. Token holders might have nothing. If the platform offering the token goes bankrupt, same problem.
So you could watch Tesla collapse, hold something called a Tesla token, and have no legal standing at all.
And most people buying these won't read the fine print. They'll see the Tesla logo, they'll see the price move the way Tesla moves, and they'll assume they own what they think they own.
The line between a stock and a token is a legal distinction that almost nobody is equipped to navigate in the moment they're making a purchase decision. And the SEC's exemption doesn't close that gap, it just makes the gap official.
The new pope just dropped a 43,000-word document about artificial intelligence.
43,000 words?
And the headline is that he thinks AI could become a modern Tower of Babel, something we build that's genuinely impressive and genuinely destructive at the same time. Not evil, just bigger than we can handle.
It signed it on the exact 135th anniversary of the last major Catholic document about technology and labor. That one shaped workers' rights worldwide for 100 years.
So the timing isn't accidental. He's trying to do the same thing, give 1.5 billion people a framework before the technology outpaces the thinking.
The question is whether governments pick it up the way they picked up the last one.
Mars has the largest tunnel network in the solar system.
Lava tubes, old volcanic passages left over from when Mars was geologically active. Some of them are wide enough that you could fit 8 California caves inside a single cross-section.
And we've never been inside any of them.
Because our rovers are basically the size of school buses. They can't get near a cave entrance, let alone navigate inside one. So the proposal is a roly-poly robot. It rolls, it bounces, it survives rough terrain, and it carries these tiny drones inside it that it releases into the tunnels to drift through the dark.
Dandelion drones. That's the actual name.
And the reason scientists want to go down there is that the tubes are shielded from radiation, stable temperature, protected from whatever killed the surface.
Which is exactly the kind of place you'd look if you were looking for something that survived.
The encryption protecting Bitcoin and most of the internet was designed around a math problem that normal computers can't solve fast enough to matter.
Quantum computers work differently. A quantum computer, once it's powerful enough, could crack that math in hours instead of centuries.
That's always been the theoretical threat. The assumption was we had decades before quantum hardware got there.
Quantum computers are compressing that timeline. It's accelerating the research, accelerating the engineering, and security experts are now saying the gap is closing faster than the people who need to respond to it are moving.
Which means Bitcoin's entire security model and most of digital banking, most of private communications, may need to be rebuilt before the hardware that breaks it actually exists.
The arms race is against a weapon that isn't finished yet.
3 of those stories today didn't exist 6 months ago.
That's not unusual anymore.
Which is either the most interesting time to be alive or the most exhausting one.
Both. We'll be back. Singularity Pulse is for informational purposes only. Nothing here is financial, legal, or professional advice. Views expressed are our own.
I'm Knox. Every Saturday on Pulse Deep Dive, one story told in acts. This season, how AI happened, who really invented the internet, and going back to the moon 53 years later. New chapter every Saturday. Find it wherever you listen.
Origins is a different kind of show. Every Sunday, We investigate the forces that shape the modern world, the geography, the science, the commerce, the decisions made centuries ago that are still playing out today. Find it wherever you listen to this podcast.